Welcome to the Dropship Podcast, where you'll learn how to build and grow a high-ticket dropshipping business and hear stories from successful e-commerce entrepreneurs. Let's kick this thing off.
Hey, and welcome back to the Dropship Podcast. John here with you today by myself. That's right, it's another solo episode with John. And today I'm talking about how to build your dropship business in 5 steps. So I'm going to be taking you through the 5 steps that we go through to build and launch high-ticket dropshipping businesses. So this is, of course, an episode particularly for people who are at the start of the dropshipping journey. So whether you're planning to launch a dropshipping business and you're just going through a bit of research at the moment, or even if you've started taking those first few steps around niche selection or building your website, this is an episode specifically for you to help you, get a bit more of an idea around the whole process of getting your business built and launched. And so I'm going to go through the 5 steps that we take, and I'm going to do it with an actual example. I'm going to talk through an example, which is one of my personal sites, which is a fairly new but up and running high ticket dropshipping business. And so if you're able to watch the video of this, of course, the video episode is on Spotify. You can watch it there, or you can head over to our YouTube channel. Just get onto YouTube and search Dropship Breakthru, and you can watch along with the video as well, and you'll actually be able to see on the screen what I'm talking about in this episode. So without further ado, let's dive in to the 5 steps you need to take to launch a dropshipping business. So you can see on the screen here, hopefully you can see the screen and you can still see me, a website. This is a high ticket dropshipping website. This is also one of my websites. So it's an Australian website. It doesn't matter what country it's in. It's the same whether you do this in the USA, whether you do this in Australia, whether you do this in the UK, you could do this in Western Europe, in Scandinavia. It's the same. Website's the same. So it doesn't make any difference. So this is one of mine. It's a fairly new site. So, if you get on and have a look at it, I haven't done a lot of work to it yet, actually, past setting it up and launching it. So it's been running for about 3 months. And yes, it is making sales. It's made about 100,000 in sales thus far. I'm just going to use it here to give you a bit of a feel for what it might look like. Now, if you're just checking this out and you're not clear on what high ticket dropshipping is, I'm just going to go over that super quick, right? I mean, we talked a lot about this in this group. We've talked a lot about it on the Dropship Podcast. So most people who follow along with me and Ben probably do have some idea of what a high ticket dropshipping business is, but this is an example of one. So if I just go to explain it, I'll just go and find some products on this site here. All right, so here we have on this site, I'm going to talk a bit more about the niche in a moment, but on this site we see we've got some foosball tables. And, these foosball tables, $3,500, $3,400, $22,760. And so how it works, high ticket dropshipping, is high ticket products. So this is an example of high ticket products. They're products that are generally over $1,000. You might go, you're going to have some products that are a bit lower than that. You're going to have some accessories, etc. But your core products on your site are going to be high ticket. And that's usually what we would term $1,000. I love selling products that are kind of like $3,500, $4,000, $5,000. You can go anywhere up to $10,000. And so when we sell one of these products, let's say somebody comes on and they buy this foosball table for $2,760. So when they do that, I'm going to go and I'm going to place an order with the supplier, the place that I buy the product from, and they're going to ship that product from their warehouse, which is in Australia. The product is in Australia. It's here. It's not in China. It's not in some other far-flung place where it's going to take 57 weeks to get here. They're going to ship it in about the next day to the customer. It's going to take between 1 and 5 days, depending on how remote they are, to get to them, and they're going to have it. And it's going to be this product. And so I'm going to order that. I'm going to pay for this one, I believe, off the top of my head, I would be buying this product. I'm selling it for $2,760. I'd be buying it for about $1,600. So it's about, from me, it's about $1,000 gross profit when I sell this product. So making one sale, $1,000 gross profit. I'm then, from that amount, going to take out cost of advertising, cost of marketing, any other business overheads that I have to run this business. There's a few subscriptions that we pay for, and I might have a virtual assistant who helps me. I got to pay their wage. Part of that's going to come out of come out of my gross profit. And so in most cases for this, when I sell this product in Australia, I charge for shipping. So I don't even have to cover the cost of shipping because the customer is going to have paid for most of that as well. And I'm probably going to be left with, I don't know, dollars, something like that from that sale that I can either pay myself with, or I can retain in the business and invest it back into, or part of it back into growing the business. And that really is what high ticket dropshipping is. Sounds simple, doesn't it? It is simple. That's right. But simple doesn't mean easy. So never make that confusion. So that's in a sense what a high ticket dropshipping business is. And then basically we have a whole range of products like that on our website and you sell them, right? So going back to the business. So the 5 steps, this is the business. This is what a business looks like soon after launch. There's a lot more to do on this website, by the way. There's a lot I haven't done yet. There's a lot we've got planned that we're going to do over the coming 12 months. And we often come back, and this is one of my sort of demonstration businesses. We'll look at it a lot in future trainings as well. So the 5 steps. Step number 1, I'm not going to go into the business setup stuff. Like that's pretty basic. Like if you're in Australia, you can set up as a sole trader. You can set up with a company. If you're in the US, you're generally going to set up a LLC company and you're going to run your business through that. I'm not going to go into that stuff. That stuff is super basic and it doesn't really matter that much which way you go there. So that's not one of the steps, but you do have to do it, right? You've got to set it up. You got to have a bank account, blah, 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 right? Really obvious stuff. But the actual setting up the actual business, first step is to identify your market or your niche, as you might otherwise call that. So there are some do's and don'ts there, but that's the first thing you got to work out. Now, the first big mistake that people make when they're coming up with their niche is they try to think of products. So they think of what products am I going to sell? And there's a lot of gurus out there that will tell you that's the right way to do it. They think of what products are you going to sell? I'm going to sell this product. And then they think, okay, I've identified a product, or maybe they can't even think of any products. Sometimes that's a problem people have too. They think of, I'm going to sell, let's pick a product off here, kegerators. I'm going to sell kegerators. I'm going to build a business all about selling kegerators. Now that's okay in the beginning, right? And that will get you somewhere. That has some very big downsides further down the track as you try to build your business. It's a very limited way to build a business. The part of the reason for that is that most high ticket products last a really long time, right? They're not cheap. They're not consumables. They're not throwaway products like if you were selling low ticket junk. So people don't buy the same product often, right? So if I sell a kegerator to somebody and they're going to put it in, their shed or their backyard or something like that, they're not going to buy another one in 6 months' time from me. So if I'm just selling kegerators, that means basically I can only sell to the same person every time, right? I can only sell to the same person once. Every time I want to make a sale, I have to acquire a new customer, right? Because I will rarely sell to the same person again and again and again. And this is actually means you're missing 2 of the main ways that you can grow a business, right? Which is repeat business and increasing your average order value. There's only 3 ways you can grow any business at all. And if you only sell one product type or you're focused on just one product type and you're all about the product, you're cutting off 2 of the main ways you grow a business, right? In the context of high ticket dropshipping. So just bear that in mind. The way you want to come up with your niche is to think of the customer first. The customer is your niche. Like sear that into your brain. If you're going through the market or niche selection, you're trying to come up with products, the customer is your niche and their interest. So this site, who's the customer? Well, it's called the Backyard Bloke. Here we go. Everything you need for a ripper, man cave, or outdoor area, right? Straight away, this website calls out to who it's for. It's for men in Australia, probably between the ages of 25 and 55, who are interested or passionate about man caves, about their shed in their backyard and building a space within their shed that's kind of theirs, of outdoor entertaining with their mates, watching the footy, doing all these sort of things, right? That's an interest, that's a passion that some men, not all men, but some men in Australia have, and other countries as well, but in Australia, right? And so that's the niche. It's not kegerators, it's not bar fridges, it's not game tables, it's the customer and their interest. And what that then enables me to do is to say, okay, if customer has that interest, what are the products that they might buy to satisfy that interest? And as you can see, there's a whole range of different products, right? Now, why is that good? Well, that's good because I can sell a range of different products and I can sell different high ticket products to the same customer. So that enables me to have bigger average order values, but it also enables people to come back more than once and buy from me again if I continue to market to them correctly. And so on this site, for example, I've made sales that are just a single product. I've made a couple of $20,000 plus sales that were multiple products in the same order going to the same customer. And when you make those sales, you're making thousands of dollars in profit on one sale, right? Whereas if you were doing low ticket, products, like you're selling $20 products, you'd have to sell about 57,000 products to make the same amount of money I'm making off one order here, right? So that's why the customer is the niche. Now, other examples of that, an example I've talked about in these lives before, selling products to people who create things, like who are into sewing or embroidery or quilting or whatever. You wouldn't just say, I'm going to sell sewing machines, right? There are other products that somebody who creates stuff would buy. There's furniture that they put the sewing machine on. There's, storage things. There's all sorts of other stuff. There's cutting devices, fabric cutting devices, all sorts of stuff, right? You would sell all of that stuff, right? It's the person's interest that is the niche. You wouldn't just focus on one product. So you got to come up with how do you find your market? How do you find your niche? Well, you got to come up with some ideas. The first step is to just brainstorm up some ideas. Now, what a lot of people say is, well, they'll sit there and go, oh, I can't think of anything right now. Okay, that's fine. What you got to do, you want to get yourself like a spreadsheet. This is the spreadsheet I use. Look, there's even some ideas along here that I've been brainstorming up. This is our spreadsheet that we use in Dropship Breakthru, actually, that we get our students to use. So you're going to come up with, the first step is just to come up with a list of ideas. You want to come up with a list of ideas. Don't just try to sit there and brainstorm until you come up with one idea and then think that's going to be it. You want to come up with a list, right? Just spitball, throw things up there, like have a brain vomit onto a page and come up with a list of interests or ideal customers, like interests. Remember, the customer is the niche, not products first. Come up with the ideas first. So you can see here, people who love fish as pets, horse riders, DIY dudes, cinephiles, that's people who are into movies, health nuts, business owners, DIY dudes, outdoorsmen, right? How do I come up with these things? I either think of them because I'm aware of the things I'm aware of, or I go onto Google, good old Google, and I type lists of interests that people have, right? This is a Google search right here. List of hobbies, the ultimate list of 1,000 plus hobbies to try. There's a list of interests right there. Go on and on and on. Look at all these pages. They're just listing out hobbies and interests that people have. There's no shortage of ideas out there, right? Go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, what are things that people are interested in? What are hobbies that people do? Good old ChatGPT can even help you these days. So basically, you just want to come up with a list of ideas. Don't focus too much on whether an individual idea up in the first instance satisfies all of the criteria. And yes, there are criteria. It's not as simple as picking a high ticket product. That high ticket product has to meet some criteria. And you can see some of this here. So once again, you need to satisfy the price. Is the price right? Can the product be shipped? Can you see it being shipped online? The easiest way to see if a product can be shipped, like some high ticket products are really big and they might be difficult to ship, right? You can see if people can ship them online by looking at other stores that sell that product. Can you see other people selling a product online? If the answer is yes, then guess what? You can also sell that product online. So you answer that question. Is it an enthusiast market? Now, this is a good one, right? Some high ticket products are not enthusiast markets. So like I used to sell lights for houses, right? Like pendant lights, decorative lights, floor lamps, all that sort of stuff. That was my first business. Mistake. They're not enthusiast products. People are not passionate about lighting, or at least very few people. It's just a really big market with all sorts of different ideal customers within it, which makes the marketing way harder than it needs to be. Those sort of markets also tend to be super competitive because they're really big, but they're all sort of mashed together. So they're kind of dominated by really big businesses. What's better is if you can find an enthusiast market, something that people are passionate about doing. It's not something that they need to have. Like you need to have a refrigerator in your house, but no one's passionate about refrigerators. Like no one sits there on the weekend reading magazines about refrigerators and drooling over the pages going, oh, these refrigerators are so good, right? That's not what you're looking for. What you're looking for is a market where people buy things because they want to, because they've got money and they can do those things. So, an idea like horse riders, people, horse riding equipment, people who ride horses love horses. They're flippin' passionate as about it. Some of them are even a bit weird about it, to be honest. That's a good thing. That's what you want. Now, I'm not saying that horse riding equipment satisfies all of the criteria that I would want to see, but it is an enthusiast market. And that is what you want because there's one ideal customer, the person who sits on the horse and rides it, right? It doesn't matter how old they are or anything. That's your ideal customer. They have the commonality between them is they're all passionate about doing that thing. And they're going to do that thing no matter what. They're passionate about it, right? So people will say, oh, well, there's a recession and people will stop buying products and blah, blah, blah. That's a load of shit. That's not actually happening, right? People who are passionate about things are still spending money. People who do things because they want to tend to have more money, right? You're aiming when you're doing a high ticket dropshipping business for people on the upper end of income, not the bottom end of income. So they're still spending money. They still have money, right? So you want an enthusiast market. You want to be able to find suppliers for your products, right? And we'll talk about that in a second. There's got to be suppliers out there that you can work with. If there's not, then you can't sell those products, right? There needs to be, this one's really important. There needs to be a level of competition, but not too much competition, right? For the idea that you have. If there's too much competition, it's going to be really, really difficult to get your foot in the door. So once again, this tends to be one of the problems with homewares. Why we don't tend to recommend people do homewares. They're just really competitive mostly. So you're looking, if you're in the US, you're looking usually for 15 or less direct competitors. If you're in a smaller country like Australia, it's going to be less than that, right? Maybe 10 or less. You want to see, is there recurring revenue potential? So remember, I talked about the 3 ways to grow your business. Can you get repeat business? Do you have an idea? So if we go back to Backyard Bloke, if I was just selling kegerators by themselves, I don't have much repeat business potential. So the answer would be no. That criteria would not be satisfied. But because this is my niche and I can sell, yes, I can say, yes, I do have that. This idea for people who are into man caves or outdoor areas and entertaining and all that sort of thing. Yes, there is recurring potential because I can sell somebody a pizza oven and I could also sell them a kegerator and I could also sell them a bar fridge and I could also sell them some furniture, right? Either together or over time. So I have repeat business potential. And is there enough traffic volume, right? That's one of your criteria as well. You can find that out easily using a tool like Ubersuggest, or if you open a Google Ads account, they have a free keyword planner in a Google Ads account, which you can use to find out how many people are searching for pizza ovens, how many people are searching for game tables, different game tables, right? So from me, if I've got these different product types in mind, I'm going to add all that traffic together and I'm going to say, yes, there's definitely enough traffic here. So you got to know, like there are some products out there where there is not really much search happening to it. And so the market might be too small. It doesn't actually happen that much. So, that's some insight into the criteria we use. I'm not going to dig into all of these individually because that would take a long time. And we do that in Dropship Breakthru. So if you want to, once again, see a bit about how we do that, dropshipbreakthru.com/join, you can get right in there and start learning. So you get your list of ideas and just brainstorm up like 20 ideas, right? Just come up with 20 ideas and then you can start going through them and say, all right, people who love fish as pets, what do they need to satisfy that interest? Once again, you might Google a bit more at this point, right? You might say, right, I'm going to go and look at what these people need. Okay, they need aquariums, they need pumps, they need filters, they need this, they need that, right? You start putting the product types. People who ride horses, and I've been a bit basic here. You would go into more detail. What horse riding equipment? All right. Saddles, bridles, halters, things like that, right? DIY dudes, there's going to be a whole bunch of products, tools, equipment, machines, storage, things in a shed, right? There's a whole list of product types there, right? So you're going to write that down and you kind of go through and satisfy the criteria here and you can get, an idea and you're looking for the idea. So how do you choose the right market to sell? Right. Now, there's 2 ways of coming at this, right? If you've got an idea that you're personally into, like some people are in one of these niches themselves, Like let's say I'm into water sports and, I'm a surfer or I'm a wakeboarder or I'm whatever. Like I could go and sell those products, right? If you fit into one of your markets yourself and it ticks the boxes, it still has to tick these boxes, it still has to satisfy a set of criteria, then you should pick that, right? Because it's going to be really easy, not easy. It's going to be much easier for you to run a business that you have some personal connection to. That's great. That's your idea. That's how you decide. If you don't have that, and I never have had that, so this isn't a problem, right? I've never had that. I've been doing this successfully for over 8 years now, nearly 9 years, right? I've never been in a market or selling stuff that I personally use. I still don't, right? It's not a problem. If you're not, then you're just looking for the market idea or the niche that satisfies the criteria the best. That's it. That's your choice. Doesn't matter what it is, right? It really doesn't matter what it is. If you've got a few that are really close, flip a coin. Seriously, just flip a coin. It's not going to make a big difference. There are no perfect niches out there. There are no perfect markets. So don't look for that. There are just a bunch of good ones, and there are some bad ones that you shouldn't do. If you've got 2 or 3 ideas that are good, it's not going to matter which one you do. They probably have about the same chance of success, right? So if you're having trouble deciding, flip a coin. If you're in Dropship Breakthru, you can ask me and Ben, and we'll tell you what you should do. In fact, we verify everybody's niches if you're in Dropship Breakthru. So once again, dropshipbreakthru.com/join. We're going to help you make that decision. Nice and easy. So let's say you've picked your niche, you've picked your market, all right? You've gone through this process. What are you going to do next? Well, the next step is you're actually going to build your website next. Now, this is a little bit counterintuitive for some people. They'd say, well, why would you go to the effort of building a website if you don't know if you've got any suppliers or anything like that yet? Well, the reason you do that step next is because it helps you to get suppliers. It helps you to convince suppliers. So when you go and going to contact suppliers, you're going to call them, you're going to email them, you're going to talk to them about working together. It's easier to get them to say yes if you can say, well, you can go and have a look at our website, right? They see that you've done some work. They can see that you know what you're talking about, and they can have some confidence in how you're going to demonstrate or promote their products online. Like if you've got a professional looking website, they can see, like, they can have some faith. They can go, oh yeah, I'm happy for my products to be on there. And remembering, some of the brands you're going to talk to, the goodwill in their brand name alone might be worth millions of dollars. So they don't want to go and stick their products sometimes on a site that looks like dog shit and is going to devalue their brand, right? So if you just call up and you go, hey man, I'm thinking of starting a dropshipping business. Would it be cool if we work together? I haven't really done anything yet. I'm just thinking about it. They're going to go, yeah, wow, this guy, we don't get many of these calls at all. This guy sounds super serious about starting a business, right? They're going to be sitting there thinking, this idiot's probably just sitting there in his pajamas. I don't want to work with that person, right? Whereas if you've done some work, you've got things set up, it's looking a little bit professional, at least. I mean, it doesn't need to be amazing. It's not going to be amazing when you do it the first time, but they can at least have some, you might be sitting there in your pajamas, which is great. I'm sitting here in my pajamas right now. It's fantastic. But at least can have a greater level of confidence that you know what you're doing, that you've got some idea, that you're invested, you've got some skin in the game. So what are you going to do? You're going to set up your website. You're going to go to shopify.com. Probably try and take me somewhere else. And you're going to start a free trial. You can go to dropshipbreakthru.com/Shopify if you want to send us a little bit of cash for recommending Shopify. We do get an affiliate payment. Hands down, the best e-commerce platform in the world for people who are doing drop shipping, for people who are new to e-commerce. Yes, there are other options out there. They're not as good. I've tried them all, and there are many reasons for that. So go with Shopify. You're going to open an account there. Then you're going to need a Shopify theme. I would recommend, if you're getting a Shopify theme, the Shopify theme store. I'm just going to go there right now. We go to themes on Shopify. There are heaps of themes. Basically, the theme is I can't get in there because I'm not a member there. The theme is basically the building blocks of your website. So when you open a Shopify account, you're going to go and design your web page. You've got to put a theme in there. Now, Shopify comes with free themes. They're rubbish. They're not good, right? You don't want to use them. They don't look that great. They don't look that professional. I mean, they're okay, but they're not very good. You wouldn't actually run a business with one of those. without a lot of heavy development, right? Which you're not going to pay for at this point. So you're going to go and you're going to get a theme. I would recommend, if you're just starting out, if you want to get one off the Shopify theme store, get the Empire theme. Remember that Empire theme. If you just want to go out and buy one, go to outofthesandbox.com and buy the Superstore theme. Superstore theme. That's the one that we're using, Dropship Breakthru. This website you're looking at right here, this is the Empire theme. If you're in Dropship Breakthru, once again, we give you an upgraded version, the best version of Superstore that exists, included in your membership, dropshipbreakthru.com/join. Get a free theme included with your membership, the best one out there for dropshipping. You're going to put that theme on and you're going to design up a website, right? You're going to go out to somewhere like Fiverr, get someone for $20 to put together a logo for you. Once again, you're going to, now you know what products you're going to sell, right? You've picked your market. Then you can think up a business name. It doesn't really matter what it is, to be honest. Your business name is not very important, but it should be somewhat related to the market, the interest, the hobby, whatever it is that you're serving, right? So that when somebody lands on your store, they're going to connect with you. So you can see backyard bloke. Well, that's what it's about. Bloke is like an Australian colloquial term for a man. And it kind of, when you think of that, you think of backyard bloke, like if you're in Australia, you can think about the guy that we're targeting here, right? Just by saying backyard bloke. Right? So immediately it calls out to the ideal customer. That's the point, right? They're going to be familiar with that sort of terminology. So you're going to get that designed up. You're going to go out and get a phone number. There's tons of providers for phone numbers. You could have a local number like this. You could have a 1-800 number. You could have an 800 number if you're in the US, a 1-300 number if you're in Australia. Those are all great options. You're going to set up an email for your business on Google Workspace, so you've got an at your business name email address. So for this business, it's g'day, more Australian colloquialism, at backyardbloke.com. So you can see backyardbloke.com. You don't want your name at gmail.com on your website. You don't want to use that with suppliers. Once again, this says professional, right? You've set stuff up. So that's what you're going to do. You're not going to build out the whole business right now. Right now, don't get freaked out about when I say building this website. What we're doing is you're gonna design up a little homepage, right? It doesn't have to look as good as this one. You're just gonna design up a homepage. You're gonna put, your initial product categories that you're thinking of on here, right? So you're just gonna build out a navigation. You're not gonna put products in all of these though. That's not the point yet at this point, but you're just going to make it so it looks like what it's going to look like, close to what it's going to look like when you go live. And then you're going to load a small number of demonstration products into it so that you can have just a few products. Like in tiles like this, I would say load up 5 products, demonstration products. So what does that mean? That means go to, and this is my little trick. If I want to, when I'm doing this in the beginning, I try not to load up products from suppliers that I'm going to call, because sometimes it can get a bit funny about that. Usually what I'll do is I'll put on a VPN, and if I'm building a website in Australia, I'll go to do some US Google searching. I'll find a business in the US that sells the same products that I want to sell. I'm just going to pick one of these categories. So let's say I did it for arcade machines. I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to find a business that sells a brand of arcade machines that aren't on sale in Australia. I'm just going to cut and paste their products onto my site, copy the images, load them up into Shopify, copy the titles, the descriptions, etc. And then I'm going to have product pages. And I'm going to use them for demonstration purposes. So when I call suppliers, I'm going to say, hey, you can check out our website. I've got some demo products loaded up on there so that you can see what your products are going to look like on our site. And that's exactly what you're going to do. 5 products, right? In one of the product categories. So if I was doing it here, just to be clear, I do 5 arcade machines. That way I can put them on the homepage like this. That way if a supplier wants to see what my product pages are going to look like, they can go and look at my product pages, because there are some product pages. When I go to, I'm not selling anything here. My checkout's not live. People can't buy those demo products, right? So we don't have to worry about, I'm not marketing. Nobody's going to find my site, right? So it's just going to be up like that for a couple of weeks while I call suppliers. And then I'm going to delete those products before I go live. So, that's cool. If you're in the US, you put your VPN on and visit an Australian site that sells your sort of products. Find a brand you're not going to call, rip some of those products onto your site, and you got a demo website, right? So you're going to set up your website. Step number 3, after you've got your website set up, is you want to go and put together a list of suppliers. So coming back to our, and by the way, if you're watching along, either live or on replay, just comment if you want to get I'll give you these spreadsheets. If you want to get some little templates and some other goodies, I've got a little bundle for you. Just comment start below. I'll DM it to you. So we come up with our product types. We know what product types we're going to sell on our site from our market research before we made that decision. The next thing to do is just to build a little supplier tracking template. So this is, once again, this is the one I use, right? If I've picked a types of products to sell in here, you can see I'm just kind of demonstrating it a little bit with air purifiers, dehumidifiers. I'm going to go out and I'm going to find names of suppliers. And I'm going to put their names down here. I'm going to put what product types they sell. And I'm just going to go to their websites. I'm going to find their email, their phone number. I'm going to record their website. And then you can see there's some other columns that I keep here so I can track the process of calling those people or contacting them to get approval to sell their products. Now, if you're in a larger country like the US, for some markets, you might find 50 suppliers, potential suppliers. And so you've got to keep track of your contact with them because you're going to make a lot of contacts, you're going to send a lot of emails, you're going to make a lot of phone calls, and you're going to lose track of that. And it's important to know, like, did you put an online application in? When did you do it? Did you phone call them and when? What were the comments from that call? Who was the person you talked to? Are they approved or not? That's going to help you to track it all if you put it in a sheet like this. Or you can use some other tool, but spreadsheets are nice and simple, right? Everybody can work out a spreadsheet. So you're going to go out. How are you going to find these? Well, there's two ways you're going to find these, two main ways. One, the first one is to go and find competitor websites, right? So if you know, if I said in this example, I'm going to sell air purifiers, right? I'm going to go and look for all the other sites in my country. And you would have got some insight into this because one of the things you looked at in your market selection was competition. So you should have sort of gone out and looked how much competition is there. Easy way, go onto Google, search air purifiers for sale. You're going to get a bunch of ads, right? Google shopping ads, search text ads, Google results from people who are selling air purifiers. There's your competition. You're going to go onto their website. You're going to see if you can work out what brands they're selling. What brand names of air purifiers are they selling? Those are potentially your suppliers, those brand names. So if I go and I see a brand of air purifiers, and this is one from the US, Air Free, I see that brand name. I go back to Google and I search in Air Free. I'm going to find airfree.com. That's the brand's website, right? So I can go onto airfree.com and find their phone number. They might not have an email, public email address. They might have a website contact form. I'll go and look in the footer of their site, and I might see they have an online dealer application for new dealers. Well, if they've got that, I'm going to record that here. I'm going to go and fill that in. So you're going to just build up that list. The second way that you can find suppliers is just to go into Google and search air purifier manufacturers, air purifier distributors, air purifier suppliers. If you're in Australia, you might search air purifier importers. And you're going to, once again, go through the Google search results and just winkle out any brands who sell their own product, like they have their own branded product, those are suppliers, and you're going to add them to the list. So literally 2 ways to find suppliers works pretty much every single time, and you'll build up a list, bigger or smaller. You want to see, at least 15 suppliers. If you're in the US, I mean, you should have worked this out on your market research. You're probably going to see like 15 in the US or more, and there's no limit. It could be as high as you want. In Australia, you want to see at least 10. The reality is when you call suppliers, which is the third step, is contacting suppliers. That's what we're talking about. Some are going to say yes. Some are going to say no. Naturally, it happens to everybody. If I call suppliers right now, even though I've been doing this for many years, some are going to say, no, get stuffed, right? Even though I might have the best conversation skills in the world about getting them approved, I'm still going to get some no's, right? That's natural. It's normal. It's not a problem. So you want to have a decent number, because if you've only got 3 suppliers, if you can only see 3 suppliers, one that wouldn't have satisfied that criteria in your market research, but one says no, one you don't get in contact with, and one says yes, then you've got one supplier. You can't build a business around one supplier, right? That's a business with a lot of problems built into it that it's going to fall apart at some point, right? So you have multiple suppliers. And I just want to touch on this, right? When you're doing a high ticket dropshipping business, this is not the case. Some people get this a bit wrong. They think, oh, I just need to find a product and a brand and that's going to be my business. No. N-O. What you're doing here is you're going to be a category king, right? This is what you're supposed to be when you're high ticket dropshipping. You're a reseller. You're like a department store for your niche. So if I say I'm going to sell arcade machines, I'm going to sell every brand that I possibly can of arcade machines and every arcade machine from those brands. I'm going to put them on my site. Same for kegerators, same for bar bridges, same for pizza and barbecue things, same for game tables, right? You're not just getting one brand of arcade machines and stopping there. That's not the idea. That's the wrong idea. Why that's the wrong idea, and this is once again, another big limiting mistake that people make when they start a new high ticket dropshipping business and they wonder why it's not working. Usually it's because they didn't do enough on the supplier front, right? Arcade machines, some sell really well, some don't. If you go out there and you only get the ones that don't sell really well online and not the ones that do, then naturally you're not going to sell many arcade machines. But you're going to think it's because there's something wrong with selling arcade machines when it's not. It's just something wrong with selling the products that you're selling from that category. Whereas if you went out and called more suppliers and followed up more and did blah, 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 and got another 3 or 4 brands on, 2 of them are the best sellers in the market, then you're going to make a lot more sales, right? And that's actually the growth trigger for your business. So keep that in mind. Now, in the beginning, not everyone says yes. Some will say, come back to us later. Some you'll have to follow up with for 3 or 4 months. That's fine. That's normal, right? You just got to get enough to launch. You can launch with any number, right? You could have 3, you could have 4, you could have 5, you could have 6, you could have 10, you could have 20. But what's important is that after you launch, you continue to contact them and try to get more and more. You don't stop putting products on your website when you launch. You launch, and then you keep doing the getting products on your website stuff, right? So step 3 still, you build your supplier list. Then simply enough, you contact suppliers. If you've got a phone number, you call them. Do not just email people. Think about it. Cold email. Most people won't open your email, right? 30 to 40% is probably going to be your open rate, right? So if you're serious about building your business, you don't leave things to a 30 or 40% chance of success. You want to do everything you can to be successful. So yes, you can send an email, but if you've got a phone number, you also call and you call and you call and you call until somebody answers or until you speak to the right person and you have a conversation with them. A very simple conversation. Once again, if you want to get the conversation guide there, just hit comment start on this post and I'll send it to you. It's a very simple conversation, right? You don't need to overthink this. I won't go into the conversation here because time will be a limiting factor there, but it's a simple conversation. Some say yes, some say no. Once you've got a few that say yes, you move on to step 4 of launching your business. Step 4 of building your business here is to put their products onto your site. So you're going to upload all of the products that they give you. When you get approved with the supplier, they're going to send you price lists. They're going to send you product images. They're going to give you product descriptions or any other technical specifications that products might need, right? You're going to take that information and they might give it to you like a download. They might send you to a dealer portal to download it. They might just say, go to our website and copy that stuff. It doesn't matter. You're going to take that information and then you're going to upload it into your Shopify account. So it then shows on your Shopify website. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect when you first go to put it up there. You can optimize that information over time, right? You might write better product descriptions. You might fiddle around with pricing over time in some cases, but you got to get it up there. So you get it up there. You might do that yourself. Tedious process, not a lot of fun, right? But just think of the money that you're going to make. You're going to sell these products, so it's worth putting them online. Some people, if you've got a bit of extra cash around, and by the way, at this point with setting this business up, we've maybe spent about $200, maybe even less than that, right? So, if you've got a bit of extra cash to spend, you could go out and get a virtual assistant to help you upload products, right? That can speed the process up and take a bit of work off your hands. You don't have to. Most people, to be honest, do it themselves. My first sites, I did it all myself, right? I didn't hire anyone for the first site. So you can do it yourself, but you're going to upload the products. And then, you're probably going to have a few small things. Now you know exactly what brands you're going to sell. Now you know what products exactly you're selling. You can start doing some things like adding in some more. All right, I can design my homepage up a bit. I can add a bit more to it about what I'm selling, right? Like we've done here. So you'll have a few smaller optimizations to make because now you know exactly what you're selling. You probably change your navigation, your menus a little bit and do all of that sort of thing. So basically you're getting your site ready to launch. And, we have a little checklist of just a series of questions to ask yourself before you launch your business. You're going to go through something like that, work out if you're ready to launch. Once again, if you want to get this, just comment start. I'll send it to you. And of course, this is all in Dropship Breakthru as well, dropshipbreakthru.com/join. You're going to get all of this stuff ticked off, and then your site's going to be ready. It's going to be done. It's going to be ready for customers. And so step 5 of building your business, the last step before you're going to make your first sale, is to set up your initial marketing. And so the first place that we do marketing with a high ticket dropshipping business, always Google ads. So advertising on Google, specifically Google shopping ads. So if I go onto Google and I search air purifiers here, what am I talking about? Google shopping ads. These ads that we see at the top of the screen here, these are ads from companies that sell air purifiers. Oh, look, there's even some high ticket ones, right? You could go into the shopping tab. This is the other way that people use Google shopping. And we see on here ads. Some of these are not ads. Some of these are free listings. But these are all ads, and you can put your products in this place. And this is great because why do we use Google shopping first? Why is that our first marketing channel? It's not the only marketing channel you're going to use on one of these businesses. There are others, but it's good first because you can get in front of people who are already in the market. And this is one of the great things about high ticket drop shipping. You're not creating demand, right? If you're doing low ticket drop shipping, you're importing junk from China and like fake dog eyelashes or whatever. Nobody is out there looking for fake dog eyelashes in any great volume. You've got to go and interrupt those people on social media or something and try and fool them into buying that stuff because it's apparently amazing. You've got to create demand for the product, right? We don't have to do that. There's already demand. When you're selling high ticket established products in a local market, like in your country, they've been on sale. Like some of these brands here have been in the market for years and years, decades even. People know their products. So if people are into a particular product, then they're going to be aware. A portion of that market is always aware of the brands and the individual products. And so they're going to get on there and they're going to be searching on Google for, Innovair air purifier. So you can put your ads immediately in front of people who are already searching for that exact product that they want to buy. And yes, there's going to be a bit of competition here, but if you do it right, you're putting your ads basically in front of people who are ready to buy. Now, that's not enough just doing that to build a really big business. You have to start doing other stuff to build a really big business. But using Google Shopping is easily enough to make hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales, right? Without doing any other marketing, right? So I've even seen people who have run up to millions of dollars in annual sales just with Google Shopping. That's a bit rarer, right? But in the US, that has definitely happened, right? So you're going to run Google Shopping ads. So you're going to set up a Google Merchant Center account. You're going to set up a Google Ads account, and you're going to switch on ads. You're going to make your first sales. Most people make their first sales in the week or two after they launch their ads. My first site, I made my first sale after like 10 days. And then from there it grew, kind of thing. And that's it. Now, I've done a training in this group before, where I walked you through the campaigns that you're going to set up. In fact, we looked at a Google Ads account last week in a Google Ads teardown. So I'm not going to dig into what those actual ads are going to look like, but there is a very specific way that we use Google Ads, Google Shopping for high ticket drop shipping. And so if you want to learn how to do that, dropshipbreakthru.com/join. We have a whole module, like 30 lessons, over the shoulder lessons, watching me do it all, on how to set that up properly and how to run and how to manage those ads successfully so that you're not losing lots of money running ads. So that's where you start. Most people start the Google Ads budget of about $30 a day. That's what you're aiming for, right? Generally, that's a good mix of getting enough data, making some sales, and progressing your business forward. But that's it. You're launched. That's the 5 steps.
Thanks for listening to the Dropship Podcast. You can find all the show notes for this episode at dropshippodcast.com. And if you're ready to take the next step in your dropshipping journey, we invite you to join us inside Dropship Breakthru, where John and I will walk you through step by step in starting your own high-ticket dropshipping e-commerce business. But that's not all. Dropship Breakthru will also teach you everything you'll need to know to grow your business and take it to the next level. So head over to dropshipbreakthru.com and sign up for our free training that will help you take the first steps towards building and growing your own profitable high-ticket dropshipping business.